Hi there. In this video we're going to look at running PHP unit tests in PhpStorm where the interpreter running the unit test is on a Vagrant virtual box. This gives you the benefits of having your replicatable development environment using Vagrant, but you can still run the unit test right from within your IDE given all the benefits that has. This kind of builds on the last video, which is running your PHP unit tests in PhpStorm with a local interpreter, and I may refer back to that video, so even if you are looking to work with Vagrant, it's worth watching that video just to check that out. So let's make a start. We need to do one thing first, which is to bring up our Vagrant box. So I'm just going to go to Tools, Vagrant Up, to bring up that Vagrant box, and it's going to ask for a location for my Vagrant file, which is right there, and you'll see the Vagrant box coming up. Then we just need to do the same thing, three things we did with the local interpreter: configure a PHP interpreter, configure PHPUnit, and create a run configuration. It's really the same simplicity as a local interpreter when you know what you're doing. The Vagrant box is up, so now we can do those three steps. So the first thing we want to do is to add a PHP interpreter. So language and frameworks in our settings, PHP, and then the ... allows us to manage our interpreters. So we'd like to add a new interpreter. And it's a Vagrant interpreter, so predictably we'll use from Docker Vagrant VM remote. And then we just click Vagrant, and because we've brought the Vagrant machine up with PhpStorm, PhpStorm just detects everything for us. You can see it knows where PHP is, it knows the host URL, which is great. So if we click OK, I'm going to quickly rename this to Vagrant PHP7, so I know it's the Vagrant one we just configured. And I'm going to tick visible only for this project. It just means that we don't clutter up the interpreters in other projects that wouldn't use this Vagrant box anyway. Typically, Vagrant machines are bespoke per project. You don't use them across multiple projects normally, so we can just tick that. Then all you can see here is that everything's been configured for us. The PHP executable's been detected as PHP 7.0.8. And we've got Xdebug here. That's all we need to do in this instance. So we click apply and OK. And if we apply this, we then need to just add a new PHP unit configuration. So under PHP, PHPUnit. And we need to add a new configuration. Last time in the local interpreter, we just configured the local one. Now we need to add one. And it's by a remote interpreter, and because we've already done this in the right order, we already have the Vagrant PHP 7 interpreter we just configured available to us. This makes life a lot easier than trying to configure it from within this drop down for me. So if we click OK, you can see again everything's been detected for us. The interesting thing here is we have some path mapping. So we've got project root to /Vagrant, that's a path that's mapped, and project root /WordPress to var www.html. The configuration file has been detected, which is really nice. We just need to tell it where the PHP file is, and it's in the same folder as PHPUnit. If you think it's in var www.html, so we can just type var www.html and then phpunit.var, and if we click refresh, you should see, yep, it's detected for us. So there we go. PhpStorm now knows which configuration file to use for which PHPUnit far to use, so that's really neat. We can just apply and OK that. Let's get rid of this Vagrant here. Then we just need to add a run configuration, and a run configuration just tells PhpStorm what to run and how to run it. So if we click, if we type PHPUnit, because we want to add a new PHPUnit run configuration, let's call it Vagrant PHPUnit, so we know what it is. And the scope is basically telling PHPUnit what tests to run. So do you want to run just the tests in this directory? Do you want to run just the tests from this class or just the tests from this method? Our scope is defined in the configuration file, and we've already told PhpStorm where to find the configuration file. So it's as simple as that. We can just rename it and click apply and OK. So that's all we need to do. We've told PhpStorm which remote interpreter to use in Vagrant. We've told PhpStorm where to find PHPUnit and to use that remote interpreter. And we've told it to run all the tests in the configuration file. We can just start running these tests now. Whoops. There you go. The unit tests are complete. You can see 7,880 tests done, 392 failed, 7 ignored, 5 minutes, 2 seconds. Yeah, these unit tests from the WordPress project are not really unit tests. They're integration and acceptance tests that touch the database, so it takes a long time. The interesting thing to note though is, like when we used our local interpreter, you can see we've got our test results right here. So if we filter to try and find some failed tests, We still get the diff viewer as we did before. We can still use the click to navigation because PhpStorm understands the mappings between the local files and the remote files. So you get all the benefits of your local interpreter right within PhpStorm when you're using Vagrant. I hope that helps. So thank you very much for watching. We've got another episode coming out on PhpStorm, PHPUnit and Docker. So keep your eyes open for that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.